7 things I had never seen before I came to the USA. I'm very curious what things are going to come up in this list. Just before we get into it, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. It massively helps out the channel growing. But we're just going to jump straight into this video and hit play.
Hey, do you think we could stop by an ATM? I need to get some cash.
Yep, sure. There's one right over there, actually.
And here we go.
Is this the same person?
Here, give me your card.
Wait, what is this place?
That was the same person, isn't it?
Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but since the fall of 2016, I've mainly been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And during that time, I've had lots of experiences with cultural differences, as you guys know, since that's what this channel is mainly about. And some of those experiences were situations where I was like, what is that? Or what is this thing for? Which often made me sound like a little child discovering the world for the first time. But that's pretty much what it was, because there were quite a few things that I had never seen in my 22 years of living in Germany. And that's what this video is going to be about. So here are 7 things I've never seen before I came to the US.
Right, let's get into it. Oh, drive-thru ATMs.
The first thing on my list is drive-thru ATMs. And before I continue, I just want to give a disclaimer for the whole...
So this is interesting. Someone sent me a photo the other day of a drive-thru ATM. But yeah, it's interesting why we never had one. Why we never had the drive-thru ones. It would make so much more sense if we had drive-thru ones.
Video. These are my personal experiences. I'm sure some of these things do exist in Germany somewhere. I'm sure there is a drive-thru ATM somewhere. But I personally, growing up in Munich, I had never seen that before I came to the US. And here, it's a pretty common thing. Just like anything drive-thru in the US. Drive-thru pharmacies, coffee shops, liquor stores. And I've heard that there's even a drive-thru wedding chapel in Las Vegas. So just a couple of weeks after I first came to Cincinnati for my exchange semester in 2016, I was in the car with a few friends and we were on our way to this event hosted by the university with a concert and food trucks, and we wanted to get some cash before we got there. So my friend said we're stopping by an ATM on the way there, and I was mind blown when we pulled into this drive-thru ATM a few minutes later and we could get cash without even leaving our car. I was like, wow, Americans really don't.
Hold on, I'm just thinking. So if you're in the passenger seat and you want to get cash out, you have to give your PIN to the driver. How do you do it from the passenger seat? I'm curious about that part. What if you're in the back seat and you want to get cash out? Yeah, well, now I'm overthinking it.
Don't like to walk. I had never gotten cash from a car before, but since then
it's still
I've
a cool
done it
idea.
many times myself, and I do have to say
we need it in the UK.
It is very convenient. The second point on my list has to do with driving as well, and that's because people just drive a lot more in the US than they do in Germany, especially compared to more urban areas in Germany. Here in the US, except for major cities like New York, cars are the main way of getting around. Distances are long because this is just a huge country. Public transportation is pretty poor or doesn't exist at all. And people can drive at the age of 16, which is pretty important here because in most places you really wouldn't be able to get around otherwise, and you would be...
So in the UK, you could drive a moped at 16, which is like a hairdryer on wheels. At 17, you can drive a car. So yeah, it seems young, 16 for a car. It's only 1 year different to the UK, so not a big deal,
Be dependent on your parents forever. So it's very common in the US to drive everywhere, and even in bigger cities here in the Midwest, like Cincinnati, you won't see many people walk or take a bike or public transportation. And with that also comes that you'll see people stand at stoplights, sometimes even in the middle of the street on the median with a sign held up. And when I first saw that, I automatically thought it was a hitchhiker. So I was like, wow, there's lots of hitchhikers in Cincinnati, until I realized that they were really homeless people, and on the signs, they were describing their situation and asking for money. So what you'll see is that when a driver is waiting at a red light and wants to give them money, they'll just roll down their window and the person will walk up to the car and take it. And of course, it's not like I had never seen homeless people or people asking for money in Germany, but in Munich, you'll usually see them on the sidewalks. In
the UK, we get people that come up and they'll clean your windows, or sometimes they'll sell flowers and they'll walk through the traffic. They will actually walk through the traffic, which is so dangerous. And they're asking for money. So maybe we have it a little bit similar here. But yeah, they don't hold up signs.
Pedestrian area, in subway stations, or wherever people might walk by rather than at stoplights.
Koozies?
With that, let's move on to the third thing on my list that I had never seen before I came to the US.
What is this?
And that is Koozies. They look like this and are a pretty normal household item here. I'd say most people have at least one of these at home. Many people.
Wait, you put your can inside and it keeps it cold? Is that what it is? Wait. Let me look these up. So in the UK, we call them insulated beer can holders. But you call them Koozies? We just like to make everything extra. I'm interested. I want one of them.
People have dozens of these at home, but I personally had never seen that before I came here, and I had no clue what they were for when I first saw them. But as you can see, I do have some Koozies myself now, because they're a pretty popular giveaway item and merch
and it keeps
item.
It cold?
And they're mostly used when people drink beer or other alcohol. You put your can or a bottle in this thing, and that way your drink stays cool, especially in the summer. I've actually mentioned Koozies in my video on alcohol culture, and in that video I said that they keep your hand from getting cold, since drinks here are usually extremely cold. And I said that because that's the only reason I've ever used them, but the official purpose is actually to keep your hand from warming up the drink and not the other way around. So I just want to get that straight.
Okay.
Why don't we have them in Germany? I'm not 100% sure, but I'd assume that it's because we're not afraid of our drinks getting warm as much as Americans are, and we also don't drink out of cans a lot, and I believe that cans warm up faster than bottles.
Maybe.
This one I actually didn't really notice until 2018 when I got my master's at the University of Cincinnati and taught German there at the same time. Because when I did my exchange semester in 2016, I never actually had a class in a normal classroom because the program was called Electronic Media, and I mostly just took video and audio production classes that were taught more in a studio setting. But then when I taught German 2 years later, my classes took place in normal standard classrooms, and that's when I noticed these things on the walls.
Okay.
Most classrooms have one of these attached to the wall, and I was completely lost at first as to what this is until I saw someone use it for the first time. And it's a pencil sharpener. And before you ask, yes, we do have pencil sharpeners in Germany too, but it's not very common for German students to—
I don't know if I'm wrong, but I feel like when I went to secondary school, so once I left primary school, we used pencils. Secondary school, I feel like we had to use pens. And I feel like the reason was when you make a mistake, you couldn't change it. That was it. Once you made a mistake, it was there for good. But yeah, we definitely didn't have any pencil sharpeners in the room. You had to take your own. You had to go to WH Smith, which is a store in the UK. You had to go buy your own pencil sharpener and take it with you every time you went to school.
To write with a pencil in school. I've actually talked a little more about that in this video, and therefore pencil sharpeners aren't really a thing that students need after elementary school. And even in elementary school, I've never seen a pencil sharpener on the wall in Germany. The students just have their own sharpeners. Again, I'm sure somewhere in Germany you can find these on the wall too, or maybe it used to be a thing back in the day, but I personally had never seen this item before I came to the US. And here it seems to be a
If you're using a pencil, it makes sense. For a school to put them in, that's a smart idea.
Pretty standard thing in classrooms.
Spray everything.
Whether it's spray butter, spray oil, or even spray cheese, Americans have some interesting food items here that I have definitely never seen.
In the UK, we have spray oil. It's like more of a healthier version. We don't have spray cheese. I'm curious about that, but I said that in another video. A lot of people said spray cheese isn't that good. I'll be curious to try it because I've never tried it before. But spray oil, we do have. We definitely have that.
before, and especially the spray stuff threw me off a little in the beginning. Spray butter and spray oil are things that I've seen in a lot of American households. Maybe that's just because of the widespread fear of fat here, and people think that with regular butter and oil they're gonna get too much of it. I'm not sure, but again, I've never seen that in Germany, and to most Europeans I've talked to, that seems pretty unnecessary. I mean, why not use your regular oil and butter? And the sprayed cheese, I don't even know what to say to that, but in general, there's lots of things that Americans call cheese that aren't actually cheese, so that's just something that I had to get used to.
Dual wheels.
This is something you see on the streets a lot that I feel like is probably not even allowed in Germany, and it's these huge pickup trucks with dual wheels in the back. In general, there are a lot of—
Whoa, what is that? What? I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Is that a normal car? I only see that on lorries in the UK. Maybe, yeah, you would call it a truck. In America, you would call it a truck. But yeah, that's the only time you're seeing dual wheels. You can get that on a normal car. I mean, like, this is a pickup. Wow, I'm blown away.
Of pickup trucks on American streets compared to Germany, and just so many huge cars and SUVs that wouldn't even fit through all the streets in Germany. But the dual wheels really are something that, to me, seems like the epitome of this whole land of extremes vibe of the US. And I often even see this in the city, where it doesn't even seem like the person actually needs a truck, let alone dual wheels. So I guess some people just have it because they can.
Beaters.
And the last point on my list has to do with cars again, and this one goes back to the fact that in Ohio and most other states, they don't have car inspections that your car has to pass in order to keep the registration. In Germany, we have a pretty strict inspection every 2 years called TÜV, and that's the reason why you hardly ever see damaged cars
every
on
2
German
years.
streets. Maybe you'll see a dent here and there or some rust, but in the US—
In the UK, we have an MOT. An MOT is once a year. If you don't have an MOT and you get pulled up by police, yeah, you're in trouble. I missed my MOT once by about a month and I got pulled up by police. They basically said to me, I've got a couple of days to go and get that MOT, make sure my car was road legal, and I had to go to the police station and show them that I went and done that. Every year we have to do that in the UK. What do you do in America? How do you know that a car is road legal? I'm really curious about that. Like, that's interesting.
Yes, you'll see beaters, so broken cars all the time. You know, cars that look like they just got out of an accident, where there's the bumper missing, or half of the hood, or the side mirror. And that was definitely something that shocked me in the beginning, to see cars like that on the highway, because it's just not something you'll ever see in Germany. That was my list of things I have never seen before I came to the US. Of course, these were just a few points of many, so let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this. And of course, I also want to know what things were new for you, either when you first visited the US or maybe another country in your case. Let me know in the comments below.
Wow, really cool video. Shocked me about some things there, yeah. Like the dual wheels. Wow, you've got that in America. Yeah, I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Definitely let me know in the comments about how often you have to do a check on your car. Like, we have an MOT in the UK, but we have to do that once a year. And even if, like, a light is out, then you can't drive your car on the road anymore. It's that crazy. Let me know how it works in America. Thank you so much for checking out the video. I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. It massively helps out the channel growing. But for now, I'll see you on the next reaction.